Okay, so have you ever found yourself staring at your kid's math homework, just completely baffled? Thinking, wait, when did basic math become a 3-page essay? If you have, you are definitely not alone. There's this growing frustration out there about how complicated modern math has become. So today, let's try and figure out why some of this 5th grade math feels, well, impossibly hard. And to kick things off, just listen to this quote. "It's a beast. This is a terrible lesson." Now, that's not coming from a frustrated parent. That's from an experienced 5th-grade teacher, Mrs. Setnes, talking about a single homework assignment. She calls it a beast and terrible for children. So what on earth is in this lesson that has a seasoned educator this fired up? Well, it got to the point where Mrs. Setnes actually made a YouTube video, not to celebrate the lesson, but basically to create a survival guide for her students and their parents. She's walking them through this one notoriously tough lesson from a curriculum called Eureka Math. And as you watch, you can tell it's a huge challenge, even for her. To really get what's going on here, we have to look at the blueprint this all comes from. You see, this isn't just a one-off, random, difficult question. It's actually part of a very specific and very widespread way of teaching. And that blueprint is called Eureka Math. You might also know it by its digital name, Zern. And it is used in schools all across the country. So that beast of a problem we're about to pull apart, it's not some weird exception. It's the kind of math that millions of kids are tackling every single night. So let's look at the official goal. What are they trying to do? The curriculum documents say the mission is to help students reason concretely and pictorially. It's all about getting a deep, conceptual understanding of the math. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, just keep that official goal in mind as we look at the reality of the homework. All right, let's do it. It's time to face the beast. We are going to dissect the exact problem that Mrs. Setnes was talking about. This is the Fantine the Baker word problem. Now, on the surface, the setup seems pretty straightforward. Fantine's a baker, she buys flour, and there's a table with some numbers. The student just has to fill in the missing amounts for a few months by solving some word problems. Simple enough, you'd think. Let's zoom in on just one tiny piece of the puzzle, finding the flour for June. The instructions say she bought 1/8 pound less than 3 times as much as she bought in May. You see the layers there? You're not just doing one calculation. You have to do multiple things in a very specific order just to find this one number. And look what that one little sentence turns into. For a 5th grader to solve for June, they have to perfectly execute 5 completely separate steps. They have to find the data, multiply fractions, subtract fractions, convert to a mixed number, and then simplify the final fraction. One little mistake anywhere in that chain, and the whole answer is wrong. And remember, this is just for June. But wait, there's more. Because after all that intense fraction arithmetic for 3 different months, the problem completely switches gears. Now the student has to become a data analyst. They have to take all 10 data points and build a line plot, making sure all those tricky 4ths and 8ths are in the right spot. And just when you think you're at the finish line, nope, the grand finale is this. How many pounds of flour did Fantine buy from January to October? This means adding 10 different numbers. We're talking fractions, mixed numbers, finding common denominators. It is a massive, grueling final calculation. And that brings us right back to Mrs. Setnes's reaction when she gets to this part of the problem. Do you see what I mean? This is terrible. This is just mean. She even jokes that the people who wrote it must enjoy torturing people. It's just this moment of pure, unfiltered frustration that I think so many parents and students can relate to. So why? Why on earth would anyone design a problem this complicated? Well, the answer gets at a really fundamental shift in how math is taught. The goal isn't just about getting the right answer anymore. It's about trying to get kids to think more deeply. Think about how a lot of us learned math. It was all about the final answer, right? The new way, the Eureka Math way, is all about explaining the answer. It's not enough to solve it. You have to explain how you know, use models like tape diagrams, and show that you can reason concretely. Here's a perfect example of what that looks like from the very same lesson. Students are asked to compare 2 expressions, but here's the catch. They have to do it without calculating. They can't just punch numbers. They have to look at the structure of the problems and use logic to figure out which one is bigger. It's a clear attempt to build number sense over just memorization. But this is where we get to the heart of the conflict, right? It's this collision between these admirable, rigorous goals and the reality of a 10-year-old at the kitchen table on a Tuesday night just trying to get their homework done. I mean, think about the mental gymnastics for that Fantine problem alone. A student needs to be a master of fractions, know when to use addition rules versus multiplication rules, remember the order of operations, translate complicated sentences into math, and create a data plot. The room for error is it's huge. And honestly, nothing captures the reality of this better than this moment from Mrs. Setness's video. While she's trying to walk through one of the reasoning problems, she gets stuck. She actually admits, I can't explain it in a good way. I'm not a math genius, I guess. And wow, if a dedicated, experienced teacher hits a wall, it really puts the struggle for a student into perspective. So we're left with this really critical question. Is this level of intense, multi-step conceptual math actually building a new generation of amazing mathematical thinkers? Or is the sheer volume and complexity just leading to frustration and burnout for everybody involved, the students, the parents, and even the teachers? That's really the debate at the heart of the whole modern math homework battle.